In this video from the Spectrum Protect Plus sizing series, we're going to work on entering the data from the secondary location. In the previous videos, we entered the data from the primary location. So when we look at the secondary location, not only will we have to take into consideration the global parameters like deduplication, we'll also have to take into consideration the Oracle database that resides at that location that needs to be protected, and the replications that are coming across from the primary location and will be stored on the secondary location. So with that, let's go over to the spreadsheet. So in the spreadsheet, the first thing you're going to want to do is save it under a new name. And we're going to call this the Spectrum Protect Plus Test Secondary Sizer, because it'll be for the secondary site. The next thing we'll want to do is reset this because we do not want the older values showing up in here. From the Start Here page, underneath the global options, the first thing we're going to do is enable deduplication. We'll keep the default dedupe rate, which gives us a total data reduction estimate of 67% or 3:1. The other piece we need to enter here is the workload that's coming across from the primary site as a replication workload. Now these numbers we're going to pull from the worksheet that we did from the primary site. So if we switch over to the primary sizer, and underneath the sizing results, you'll see the replication workload that the primary site is generating. We're going to copy these three values into the secondary site. Okay, and now what we need to do is enter the Oracle database information underneath an application. The first thing we'll do on this application sheet is update the label to show that it is an Oracle database that we're entering information for. Remember, that's just a label. It does not impact any of our calculations. The daily change rate for this Oracle database is 2.5% with an annual growth of 10%. We're using the silver SLA that's out of the box because it does have a backup frequency of once a day and a retention of 30 days. The Oracle database is 200. We do want to turn on the backup of the logs. And then we want to have the copy to standard object policies. We want to turn that to yes, and that'll be copied from this location out. We want it to copy once a week, and we want it to be retained for 180 days. Okay, if you scroll down, what you'll see below are the intermediate results for this specific site. Once again, we're looking at the 3-year projection for this. If we go to the sizing results on this particular secondary site, the first thing we need to do here is choose the preferred VSNAP size. We'll go ahead and let it automatically decide the best size, as well as the VSNAP reserve. The VADP proxy, if we had a vCenter, we would have that reside on the VSNAP server, but since we don't have a vCenter, that becomes unimportant. Since all that's at the secondary site is a vSnap, we don't have to worry about the global preferences. We already set that on the Spectrum Protect Plus server, which was on the primary site. When we look at the results, we are once again looking at the 3-year projection. And once again, we can see the gigabytes per second coming in at 3.2, megabytes per second that are being written out at 73.4. The amount of front-end data that's coming in is 242, and over 3 years that comes out to 417.5 terabytes. But after all of the data reduction, in addition, we'll add in extra space for the VSNAP size for the reserve that we add in, the 15%. And we will add in space for the data that's being replicated across from the primary site to the secondary site. And this becomes a total of 282.8 terabytes. So the total size of the secondary site needs to accommodate 547.2 terabytes. That turns out to be about 6 vSnaps, each with a size of 100 terabytes. And here you can see the front end gigabits per second as well as the back end rate. So in summary, in this video, we started sizing the secondary site, and not only did we put in the information for the local database on that site, we also added in the replication information that we generated on our primary worksheet so that we can calculate how much space we'll need in order to replicate that data to the secondary site. Please check out the next video. It'll show you some of the what-if scenarios and some of the advanced options for these spreadsheets. Thank you.